Hey, yo, what's good, guys? We got season 9 now, and I kind of felt like Embark was going to do this, where they were going to like withhold as much for the patch notes until the game actually come out. The patch notes are crazy. The amount of quality of life updates for all guns, all the maps, pretty much everything quality of life, and I think this is really needed. Like I said, obviously in my last video, if you not watched that, go watch that, about all those no new weapons, new gadgets. They were cooking a lot on basically everything else bar that, and obviously we've got a map, and a map takes a while to do so. So we're going to break everything down in today's video for the patch notes for the weapons and the gadgets, so let's go. All right, so the first thing we'll be looking at is for the controller brothers and sisters out there, you know what I'm saying? So obviously I'm a controller player as well, so this is about aim snapping, and it's basically a bit of a nerf to the controller. I don't think it's a crazy thing, but we'll break it down now. They basically added aim snapping for the Akimbos, BFR Titan, Repeater, Cerberus, KS23, 26 Matter, Model, Revolver, Recurve Bow, SA, and the SR84 Sniper. So this is pretty much for all the single fire weapons or the ones with like slower fire rates. So the first thing they've done is increase the cooldown on aim snapping from 0.5 seconds to 0.7 seconds. So normally on controller, when you aim, obviously with aim assist, you get a little bit. So if I move, a little bit of aim assist. So if I move like that, you see how I didn't move my analog stick right there? See it right there? I'll go like that. It'll slightly snap onto the target. So now with the cooldown, you can't essentially keep spamming it to lock on a bit. Obviously, that was a bit of a feature that you could do on control with aim assist. It would lock on a bit more. And now this one's pretty crazy. They added a 1.5 second cooldown for aim snapping with sniper rifles. So say if the sniper hits you once, obviously that was a miss, hits you once, normally they might go out of ADS and then re-ADS again. It's basically guarantee more of a shot, a lot more of a cooldown, so they won't get that aim snap. 1.5 seconds is pretty crazy though. And then they've also added a 1 second cooldown for aim snapping for shotguns and revolvers and grenade launchers. The shotguns, you don't really ADS, so that doesn't really mean anything except for the KS23 actually thinking about it. And then obviously revolvers and grenade launchers, so I can't keep going in and out of ADS and hope that I'm going to snap on as quick. Now, the other thing about aim snapping now, it now scales with distance, meaning no longer gives you a stronger effect at longer ranges. This is what the dev said. This change to aim snapping at a distance allows us to reduce the effectiveness of long-range weapons at longer range more than we could previously. Previously, snapping made longer range headshots a little too easy, but was constrained by how snapping worked at closer ranges. With this change, they should require more aim from the player. So essentially now, you're going to have to hit your shots way more from a longer distance, but it's kind of easier, I think, from a shorter distance, so you're going to get a bit more snap. Now for the weapons, starting off, they've got a nerf the BFR Titan. So we've got a decreased environmental damage from 130 to 95. Now that's a big, massive change. So if someone's got a goo out, it's going to take way more shots to break a goo. That's probably the best description I can have, because obviously the gun doesn't shoot through actual like walls or anything like that. And they also decreased the fire rate from 85 RPM to 82 RPM. So it's not a massive thing with the fire rate, but now it does take a slightly bit longer to shoot that second shot. The BFR is the very definition of love it or hate it type of weapon, where its top end performance is very good, but where its parameters put it very close to feeling clunky and ineffective to use. As a result, it makes this weapon quite hard to balance. We want to give it a fair power level without making it feel awkward to use. We hope the RPM change here brings it in the right place, but we'll continue to monitor how it performs. Now the BFR is it's one of those guns where I can definitely agree with love it or hate it. Probably more hate it when you're on the receiving end of a guy that knows how to hit a shot. And the next thing we got is for the mediums dual blades. Now this is quite a straightforward buff. You increase the damage of the third attack in attack sequence from 65 to 100. That is mental. Now obviously it's the third strike, so it would make sense for that to actually hit the heaviest, obviously. Now hit one shot, two shot at third shot, boom. You essentially nearly kill a heavy in 3 shots. We got a nerf to the 93R. So they got a decreased damage from 26 to 24, just overall base damage, just not going to hit as heavy. They decrease the damage fall off, start range from 32 to 30. So now you're going to have to be a bit more closer to keep the most damage you can possibly do. So it's only 2 meters, which is nothing crazy. They also increase the damage fall off multiplier at max range from 40% to 50%. Meaning it does slightly more damage at longer range. And this is what the dev said. For much of the last season of the 93Rs outperformed the second and third place weapons on damage and eliminations per round by almost 10%. That's above the acceptable range. These changes are aimed to bringing it in line with other top weapons. Next, we've got a buff to the KS23. So they decrease the bullet dispersion across all stances while aiming down sight by approximately 30%, making the weapon more precise. So now that KS23 is going to do what it does best, which is essentially ADS and long distance. If you want to know more more about the KS-23 and some of the unique features it has that other guns don't have, make sure to check out my video at the end of this one. The next thing we got is a buff for the Lewis gun. So this is just an increased base damage from 22 to 23. And this is what the dev said. Both heavy LMGs have been somewhat ineffective compared to the other options available to heavy. It slightly nudges aim to push the Lewis gun towards greater viability. I totally agree, because at the end of the day, Lewis gun to me is like a classic of the finals. And I feel like just getting a nice simple base damage will definitely make it way more viable. Now for the M60, decrease the amount of vertical recoil during the first 8 bullets in the firing sequence, making the M60 slightly easier to control. First 8 bullets, it's not really going to like move that much, but they also slightly increase the amount of vertical recoil after the 30th bullet in the firing sequence, making the M60 slightly harder to control during sustained fire. Now for the minigun, they decrease the bullet dispersion slightly when crouching or standing still and aiming down sight. This is what the dev said. Seasoned players are already able to get solid performances out the minigun, but we've noticed some casual players can sometimes struggle with it. This change is an attempt to bridge that gap, making the minigun slightly easier to use, hopefully without buffing its top end power too much. Now for the model buff, they decrease the tactical reload intro animation duration from 2.2 seconds to 1.5 seconds, meaning the weapon reloads faster. Oh, that's actually quite a bit faster, to be fair. And this is what the dev said. We know that some of the model reload animations have caused some frustration for players. We're not done with the model yet. It's one of the number of guns that would still benefit from a reload checkpoint system, and it's still in our intent to introduce a system like that sometime in the near year. Now for the V9S, increase the damage fall off range from 10 meters to 15 meters. So now you like the same with the 93R, you're gonna have to get closer to keep doing that heavy damage. You increase the damage fall off end range from 15 to 25 meters. Also increase the damage fall off multiplier at max range from 62 to 65, meaning it does slightly more damage at longer range. So essentially it's the same nerf for the 93R, but obviously they didn't touch the base damage. Now time for the changes, starting off with the breach charge. Decrease cooldown from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. So now if you throw them and then obviously detonate it, you're going to get them 10 seconds quicker. So a nice little straightforward buff with that one. And the next buff we got is for the frag grenade. Increase the outer radius from 5 meters to 5.5 meters. So now it's going to do a bit more AoE damage. They also increased the max damage radius from 2.5 to 2.75. The frag grenade is a little underpowered, although it still sees very high usage and is still reasonably effective. As a result, we're only adjusting its power slightly to see how it impacts things. And the next buff we got is for the gas grenade. A decreased cooldown from 30 seconds to 24 seconds. Now, I don't see a lot of people using gas grenades really much. I feel like it's very situational, and like I said, it's using a slot for your gadget that you could probably use for something else. The next nerf we got is for the gateway. So they decreased the maximum range from 70 meters to 50 meters. And this is what the dev said. The gateway has become a little too effective at allowing very long, very fast rotations by teams, cannibalizing, cool choice of words, cannibalizing the value of items like zip lines too much. I can agree with that. Gateway is one of the most versatile light gadgets. Like, there's so many plays you can do, you know what I mean? Now with the glitchnade nerf, they decreased the ammo count from 2 to 1. Feels pretty sad. They got a decreased cooldown from 20 seconds to 12 seconds. So now you are going to get it quicker. Obviously, that wouldn't make sense. Imagine having 20 seconds waiting for just be a one glitch. But here's what the dev said. This change is made to require players to be more accurate with their glitch grenade usage to get a payoff from it, rather than having an immediate available second grenade to cover up messes. The shorter cooldown is there to ensure misses aren't overly punished. And the next nerf is for the goo. Now, I don't know if this is goo grenade or goo itself like this, but for from a canister, I'm pretty sure it's like all of the types of goo. It's increased explosive damage multiplier versus goo from 2.0 to 2.25. And this is what the dev said. Goo has become highly effective in the current meta, and we want to offer some more effective counters to it. Now for the dome shield. You probably already know this, guys, but they added the ability for dome shields to block the winch claw. So now when you throw it, you ain't going to get kidnapped, which is a nice one. And this is what the dev said. The winch claw has been dominating the heavy meta. Very true. And this adjustment is an effort to offer some more counterplay. I think it's absolutely needed. I didn't think it really made sense the winch claw could go through a dome shield. The amount of times my teammate threw a dome shield over the cash out, and he literally just managed to grab the cash out through the dome shield. I feel like that was the one thing winch claw needed to get nerfed for. Mesh shield got a buff with an increased max health of 750 to 850, so it's going to absorb more bullets. That's obviously, you know, obvious. They had the ability for dome shields to also block the winch claw as well. Makes a lot of sense. Now for the pyro man, got decreased explosive damage from 80 to 55. That's a pretty big jump in terms of how much damage it does. And this is what the dev said. Pyro man cannibalizes. Good choice of words. The role of explosive mine a little bit too much. This adjustment should help it address that. I think, yeah, that's a good idea. Sometimes you, obviously, because you get hit by the initial damage and then you get burnt by it. And sometimes someone hits a couple of bullets on you and that happens. That's a pretty much guaranteed death. Now for the pyro grenade, it just got a simple one. A decreased cooldown from 30 seconds to 24 seconds. So obviously, you know, you throw it, get it in 24 seconds. Now for the RPG, they just increased the damage from 100 to 110. So sorry guys, you still can't one-shot a light. Now for the thermal bore, it got a decreased fuse time from 2.5 seconds to 1.7 seconds. So I'm assuming fuse time is obviously when you shoot it, it goes off quicker. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Decreased cooldown from 45 seconds to 35 seconds. Gonna get it 10 seconds quicker. Also decrease the amount of lingering smoke, making it easier to see after detonation. So when you throw it, you get that little smoke. You can actually see it a lot quicker now, so the smoke basically disperses quicker. Now for the biggest nerf being the winch claw. The winch claw has been talked a lot about lately. Some people have been really mad with it. And I can kind of understand. Not just from the point of like getting winched, but also from the point of not seeing heavies really anything different. You'd see the odd goo, you'd see the odd mesh. But mesh was really mainly just for like maybe like flamethrower and stuff like that. You know, weapons that you'd have to get close to someone, so you had someone to fall back on. But this is basically what it is. So they decreased the max stun duration from 0.65 to 0.5. So now when someone gets winched, then added functionality where if the claw victim is far away from the initial point of collision, the winch claw will break. This stresses an issue where the winch claw could sometimes appear to grab people through walls. Yeah, so sometimes say if someone was there and you're seeing them, and as soon as you like winch, they've already like moved off. Do you get what I'm saying? So like you're seeing them out there, but then by the time your winch hits them, they've already moved to a point where it's like, well, physics, you know? Thank you so much guys for watching. If you want to learn stuff about the Curse 23 or the reason why some people weren't happy about Season 9, I'm going to leave them at the end of the video. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Absolutely appreciate it. Keeping up with the video grind. Come on, Season 9, baby. Let's go.